ఎన్నో రుగ్మతులను నయం చేసే శక్తి ఉన్న స్టెమ్ సెల్స్ పై ప్రపంచవ్యాప్తంగా పరిశోధనలు పెరుగుతున్నాయి. ఈ నేపథ్యంలో హైదరాబాద్ వేదికగా ఈడబ్ల్యూ సెమినార్ పేరుతో సదస్సు జరుగుతోంది. లీ మెరిడియన్ హోటల్లో రెండో రోజు సదస్సు కొనసాగుతోంది. ప్రస్తుతం డాక్టర్ మైక్ షాన్ మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
They are diabetic, or they have a heart problem, they have a kidney problem, or they have some other problems. So you can target the area, but at the same time, you must do a general revitalization, then he feel good. Okay, because the other organs will also pull him down. Of course, the brain and the heart being the two most important organs for us, because heart is vascular, is circulation over the organs, and then the brain is the thing which is controlling all the function and quality life. What's the point of living to 120, but at 75 you're lying in bed? And you do not know what is happening, especially with Alzheimer. You don't even remember the name of the person, but you can see the face within 25 minutes. So what's the point? So what I'm saying yesterday in the lecture was quality life is so important, health span is so important, and that determines the cell span too. That depends on the cell span. I mean, the lifespan depends on the health span, and the health span depends on the cell span. That is the reason why you must do your part in fine-tuning the stem cells in the body, because the depletions of the stem cells in the body was going down so fast that you didn't realize it. Because you are born with 37.2 trillions of life cells. There'll be one stem cells over 10,000 life cells. So the stem cells is the cells which can regenerate. Those are the super cells. The cells don't regenerate much, but the stem cells are the one which can multiply, and division of the cells depends on it. And they regenerate only the targeted cells of the organ. So when you're saying hepatocyte, they will regenerate into hepatocyte. You don't expect the hepatocyte to turn into cardiomyocyte. So that is the reason why we introduce to you some awareness of what unipotent cells or progenitor or precursor cells are all about. If you go to PubMed, you can see thousands of publications by the name of progenitor cells. Okay, but in India and most part of the world, everyone was so engrossed in the mesenchymal cells alone, and everyone was thinking the mesenchymal cells would turn into parenchymal organ tissue cells. The answer is no. If someone can do that, then you don't need the iPSC cells technology of Yamanaka, who had the Nobel Prize since 2012. Okay, because the reality, even for iPSC, induced pluripotent cell, is not happening. It's only in the Petri dish. The reality of iPSC to happen and be real will be maybe 15 to 20 years from now. So while we do not have that technology, our point is, if I have to treat the liver, I will give the hepatocyte. I treat the heart, I give the cardiomyoblast. I treat the brain, I need to know which part of the brain for a stroke patient, and you give that part of the cells to do the repair. So that is the way. In other words, that also opened the question of some physician asking us, do I need to store the cells then? We talk about cord blood banking. Do I need to store the cells if I can have access to the cell at any one time when I need it? Let me tell you, the storage of cord blood banking was a brilliant American business idea. Okay? So they give the idea that you can store the cells, but what you're storing are only the tissue cells. You're only storing the hematopoietic cells and the mesenchymal cells. You didn't store the hepatocyte or the cardiomyoblast. And the reality of being able to use the cells, it could be 1:7,500 for your siblings, among the siblings of the donor, and among the parents, it could be even 15,000, 1 in 15,000. And the chances, even to store the cells, in reality, one day you need to use it. Let's say in the case of leukemia for a donor, the baby is 30 years old later and he has leukemia, and you think you have enough wires to expand the cells, you may not have enough too. In fact, in Europe, there was no storage of cells. Cord blood banking was never existing in Europe, for your information. Okay? Because according to the councils, you can't sell blood for money in Europe. This is just some facts I'm telling you. Of course, in India, in Asia, most of the part of the world, especially in Asia, a lot of companies make good money with just the storage, and it's cheap nitrogen tank to do the storage, and they charge you by the wire. Especially in Hong Kong, I was so stunned to find out that they even have to pay 80,000 US to do a storage. It's crazy, okay? So with new developments, there's always an access. What I'm trying to say is if the patient needs any types of cells, including the 400 or different types of cells, we can actually procure them and culture them within 14 days. You will have those cells. Any type of cells you can name it. Okay? Again, being one of the experts or the pioneers doing with human stem cells since the 80s, we have done a lot of research. We have done a lot of publication, even with mesenchymal cells, okay, human, okay? But we also have to open the idea of when we treat the untreatable. There's certain organs you need, like the renal cells for CKD patient. Then obviously you must give the renal cells. You can still give the mesenchymal cells exactly like what Dr. Simon was saying, the parenchymal signaling effect to stimulate, but you only stimulate the cell membrane of the cells.